What's up, everybody? It's Tobias here from YPB. Just wanted to post a video of my explanation of what has been going down with the YPB group. First couple days on the server were raided by a couple different groups. I'm not going to name any names specifically, but the clan names I'm guessing were YAR, BHC, Kcmo. It just didn't seem like we could get ahead, and we ended up having a final push on a water base and killing them all with grenades, taking in the stuff and coming to the desert where we set up camp. And late that night we ended up crashing a raid and getting a bunch of gear, and finally after 2 days of struggling, third day we're set up. So set up a main base right there, kind of where those twigs are. Our base was surrounded by some barricades, and if you notice from this base, we had like a 5x5 metal reinforced, two levels high, and we spent the whole day building that up. I built 2 tower bases, which I had equipped with bolts. We had 2 auxiliary bases. One base was there. There was a base there, which was, I guess, Dirt's failed raid. And there's these 2 pillboxes, as well as a starter base, which is right there, the 2x2. We ended up absorbing Suspect and Stained and Company. And they built a base over here, which was eventually flattened. But needless to say, we ended up raiding on Dirt and blew up Dirt, got a lot of his gear, killed BHC, YAR, LQM tried to help. We killed them. It was like a 20-man operation. We ended up having FFS, and it was an awesome raid. It happened late last night, 2 nights ago. And we came back to the house with probably, at the end of the day, we were probably sitting 40 boxes strong, a bunch of C4, a bunch of explosives. We were ready to go, and we were set. And it was 4 a.m. in the morning. And I made a decision, you know what, guys? I bet you Dirt is going to come and flatten this base or come raid us offline. So I made the decision to build a 3x3 off the coast. And store the stuff. Nobody saw me store the stuff. I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it. I just did it because I figured, what's the situation? So I took the loot from this tower, this small bungalow. I took the loot from, there was another auxiliary base we had, this auxiliary base, and I built a 3x3. Now, from here, right, this main base, this is where they hit. Okay, they hit our first main base. Then they came over here and they hit a base that was, I guess, Gerst's base. It was like right here. Okay, if you see, they hit this base here. They leveled it. They flattened that base over there, and they came and they flattened this base. So the raid that they pulled off on us, which apparently happened in 10 minutes, they came up, they threw C4 on our foundations. They didn't bother to loot. Offline raid. They came over here, they threw C4 on these foundations, but this house was empty. And then they beelined it to my loot house. Now, if you can tell from the video that I've been running around, you probably haven't seen this loot house. You probably haven't expected it. You know that there's a loot possibly in that tower. There's loot possibly right here. There's loot possibly right there. Of course, they were all emptied. As well as both of these bases. There was a base there that was empty. There was a base there that was emptied. So they say that they found our obvious loot house. Now, from here, you still can't see the house. Let me show you where it is. It's not that 2x2, which could be an obvious loot house. Let me share with you where I put the house, guys, so you can kind of see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Way off the fucking beaten path. Down here, hidden behind some rocks, completely out of view from anything that they would have seen, was my loot house. And all of our loot. So you're telling me that you knew that all of our main bases were completely empty. Now keep in mind, they came up after using all the C4 to take out the foundations of 2 of the houses that were empty. They came up and they blew a door that was here. And by the time that it takes to craft a code lock, they had a door up and a code lock on this door. So it was like blow the door, run away, come up, craft a door, craft a door frame, craft a door, put a code lock. That's the time in which they did it. Then they put sleeping bags down and looted all of our stuff and ran it back. So you're telling me that you knew there was nothing in our main bases, which had been emptied, that to the blind eye could be completely juicy. There was nothing in each one of these bases. Every single base was emptied, and all the loot was in this loot house. Now I'm coming back to our area, back to where our bases were. The claim is that he found it and that it was obvious. I still haven't seen the video. You can't see. Why isn't that base an obvious loot room? Why isn't this 2x2 obvious? Why isn't obvious that we stored stuff in these? Why isn't obvious that I put stuff in my towers? Those weren't hit. Those were emptied. Everything was emptied but the loot house. That was obvious. So you come up, you throw C4 on this. You're going to come over here to my other house, which was emptied. Throw C4 on these. And then, from what I understand, because Suspect was sitting from his tower watching the whole thing, as soon as they blew that up, they all went from here. After blowing this up, they all ran from here around the corner. They didn't stop and like think, and they ran down here, and they ran straight up to our loot house, and they blew out the door, and they put a new door. In the span of 10 minutes, blow up one house, blow up the other house, run around the corner to an obvious loot house that they just discovered that second. Not that he had any information. He didn't claim that he had been given that there was a mole. He didn't claim that he stumbled on it. He claimed that it was obvious. Not that they had found out because they were scouting before. Nothing. It wasn't like, yeah, we fucking scouted you, Toby. Let me just show you the damage one more time, guys. One more time. I'm sorry, man. You struggle for 2 days. You pull off an epic raid. You finally get ahead. You want to go to sleep. You spend all the time to move all your shit. Don't tell a single soul. And, yeah. This is why I'm fucking lit. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe that this house is so fucking obvious. Look at it. It's a shitty little 3x3 on the coast. And you can't see it from any of the other fucking houses. So, yeah. That's that. GG.